Jr. in his heyday, he was the best jitterbugger in high school. Now, do I know what the hell jitterbugging is? No. But do I know he was cold at it? Yes. Greetings, my dear friends here at Hello Drea. As usual, we're going to get right into it. I did a little research, but not really a lot. And I want to preface this video by saying if you mention or try to even allude to the fact that MLK Jr. was an adulterer, you will be blocked. Simple and plain. We're not doing that over here. Listen, at the end of the day, you have to use your noggin and you have to use your common sense, all right? Context matters for things. So, do I condone cheating or generally respect people that are cheaters, especially if they're habitual cheaters? No. But do I also understand that in that day and age, Martin Luther King Jr. literally had enough riz to get federal laws overturned? Like, he's the reason we don't have a segregated YouTube, possibly. You know what I mean? You're getting cheated on by a nigga that works third shift at Wendy's. Mind you, Wendy's does not have a third shift. Now, I know that this is a music channel, so I really should also mention the fact that music is one of the things that really binds them together. Music was an important factor in the love relationship between Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott-King, formerly Coretta Scott. I feel super goofy, like I need to go to bed. I was about to look up what Coretta Scott-King's maiden name is, or was, as if it isn't like included in her married name. They met in college. Again, loose research was done, not a lot. They met in college and he had just pledged at his frat, according to one of the articles that I read, which I will like reference and link these things, but I'm just not about to openly stop my video and work on them, okay? But he had just pledged his frat, which if I'm not mistaken, he was a Sigma. Because he had just pledged his frat, Coretta was not really feeling him at first because he didn't have any facial hair. As you may or may not know, when you're pledging a fraternity, you're required to like shave off your hair and all that type of stuff. And so she was just like, no. And additionally, I want to mention that if you are a person who has friends, if you're a person that has friends, it's important to have friends that will put you on, because they actually met through a mutual friend. And I really think like hookups like that were a lot more common back then, because obviously there was no Tinder. Like, you're not gonna swipe right on Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, you know, unless it's AI. But yeah, like they met through a mutual friend, and that is why it's important to have friends, and more importantly to have friends that actually like you. Coretta was a singer, and she actually she was either the first black student or one of the first black students at her school. I know it was not Carnegie Institute. Maybe it was Carnegie Institute. Who knows? Not me, because I'm not researching it again. But yeah, they both had that connection, and they met in Boston. You can quote me on that. I'm really, really, really confident about that. Had 3 children together once they were married, and I'm pretty sure at least 2 out of the 3 maintained doing activism. I know Martin Luther King the third definitely was an activist. The reason I personally want to highlight their love story, or at least just the acknowledgement of their marriage for this Valentine's Day / Black History Month, is because I feel like one of the things that bonded them undoubtedly was both of them standing on their principles and working together to stand on their beliefs. Now, me personally, I do have difficulty collaborating with people just because I don't like to feel controlled, and oftentimes I feel like a lot of my boldness or my experimentation gets squelched when I am around others. But I'm beginning to realize how important it is to be a unit. And being a unit, you can still be one. You just have multiple parts of one thing. I mean, it's like us. We're organisms, right? So we're made up of what? Organs, systems, cells. All of these things working together simultaneously to create me to make this video for you, okay? Anyway, I believe them having that common goal and understanding the bigger picture of things is a lot of what helped maintain the relationship. And another thing that I want to point out is that Martin Luther King Jr. was not like some 50, 60-year-old man, okay? He literally was assassinated when he was 39 years old. Most of you are probably close to being 39 based on what my analytics say. So, I mean, it's just something to think about. And additionally, you know, I kind of wonder if once she saw the way that things were going with him, like, she had to know at some point it may be inevitable, because quite literally the government was conspiring against him to, like, stand down, stop talking. He was extremely influential, right? And again, the man had enough riz to get federal laws overturned and to achieve a Nobel Peace Prize. So I honestly don't think that Martin Luther King Jr. was going out here looking for the box. I think the box was definitely coming to him. I'm sure to some degree that might have driven a wedge between them, but as far as like enough to stop being the backbone for each other and getting each other through these things, I don't think that was the case. It's also important to note that only a certain type of woman can be with a certain type of man. Like, it takes a Coretta to be with a Martin Luther King Jr. because she wasn't just like a bystander. She wasn't just in the background. Like, sure, he was out there getting arrested, doing speeches, doing these events and all this stuff, but she was also home when their house got bombed. Like, she also survived all of the threats that they faced. So again, it's about being a unit. It was Antioch College, by the way. I did do a little bit of extra research. It was Antioch College and the New England Conservatory of Music. She attended those schools. So, yeah, like, Coretta was already a baddie in her own regard. Like, she already had her own interests, her own talents. And personally, I think that's another reason why she and Martin Luther King Jr. could get along. Because, again, they're on the same accord. If she was just another, like, boy crazy, uninteresting, no foresight, no vision, it wouldn't have worked. It couldn't have worked. Like, they're both iconic. And she continued building upon his legacy after his assassination. So, and she and Martin Luther King Jr. are actually buried next to each other. What does their love story have to do with music? Come on now. Come on now. If you're in the US, you understand that the South is the birthplace of music. We're traversing through the South, trying to solve all of the world's problems and be light-skinned. Do you think that they were doing this a cappella? Hell no. And as a matter of fact, one of the articles I read said that Martin Luther King Jr., in his heyday, he was the best jitterbugger in high school. Now, do I know what the hell jitterbugging is? No. But do I know he was called at it? Yes. Obviously, Coretta studied vocals and violin. So there's that. But I'm pretty sure, like, okay, picture their household, right? Because again, everything is not always like one-sided. Obviously, we have gray areas. Like, Beyonce does take a shit sometimes. I know it's hard to believe, but she has to take a dump. Like, she has to. She has to. Everyone does, right? She does. Allegedly. So, at the end of the day, their lives were not just marches and civil rights and but like, she was a vocalist. You know, they raised 3 children together. You know that she was singing to him, singing around him, singing to the kids, stuff like that. Like, that tenderness, it matters. Like, music is all throughout our lives. Like, music is literally everywhere. When you go shopping, there's music. When you go to dinner, there might be like music. When you go to events, parties, obviously there's music. They might have, if it's a speaking engagement, they might have music during intermissions, or they might have music to get you pumped up at the beginning. Music is a part of everything. So when speaking on love and speaking on unity, speaking on fighting for a common good and for a common cause, that in itself is music, okay? It's musical, especially again with our history. Music has always been involved. I think the quietest revolution we've probably ever had in American history in regards to racial prejudice and racial oppression would probably be the Underground Railroad, because I mean, hey, you got to be quiet. On that note, I'm going to put my curling wand on and go to bed. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time. And I'm actually capping. I'm not about to go to bed. I'm really about to edit the video and then I'll go to bed. But have a good night in theory. One more thing while you're here, fellas, because again, according to my analytics, don't see any women here. Before you leave, make sure that you like the video and subscribe. I honestly can't believe I have to say that. Like, a lot of you are returning viewers and you watch my videos for like kind of like long periods of time. You should definitely be You should definitely be subscribed. You should definitely be subscribed. Like, I should definitely have more subscribers than I have. I should definitely have at least a good like 700 subscribers, but y'all keep playing with me and I don't like that. And if you keep playing with me, I'm not gonna make any more videos. So, about to eat my jambalaya. Tell my hero edit this video and go to bed.